Sure.
What is up, everybody? This is episode 7?
8.
8. Oh, the Ocho of Sports Shack, hosted by me, Dennis Toohey, always weird in third person, and to my
The other side.
yeah, my right, my left on the screen, right, sort of. I don't know. It's always confusing. Brandon Natali. We've been
That's me, Brandon.
doing sports media for a long time if you're new to this, and we just talk sports like the name indicates. We serve you your sports takes. Fun. Love the name. I wonder who came up with it. And obviously, this week in sports, a lot to talk about. Apparently, Roki Sasaki narrowed his team down to 3: Padres, Dodgers, and Blue Jays. Obviously, the NFL playoffs, NBA kind of reaching their midpoint, as well as the NHL. So, a
Jimmy
lot to talk
Butler.
about today.
A lot
We're
of
going to
Jimmy
give
Butler
you
going
the
on.
hottest news in those leagues. And there's news on Jimmy Butler like every day, what team he's going to. Seems like it's going to be to my Phoenix Suns. We were going to talk about it last week, and we just didn't get to it.
We didn't get to
and you know what? I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. I don't want him. He's my favorite player in the league. I don't want him.
Makes you say that?
He doesn't move the needle for us.
Do you guys feel like you would give up too many pieces for him, or do you feel like it's just not a fit?
No, we would just give up too much for him. Because Bradley Beal would have to be in the deal, and his contract is horrible. So we'd have to give picks, and we don't have picks, so it just makes no sense. Bad trade. Granted, our front office loves to make bad trades. Horrible at making trades.
Okay.
So I just don't want Jimmy Butler. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's the doll. Great hang, whatever. Don't want him.
I mean, not even if the pair with KD, though? I mean, come on. That sounds like a fun pairing, though.
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't need two guys that like just flip a coin and quit on a team. No thanks.
Nah, Dennis
One
is
I
not
can handle.
Jimmy Butler.
Two.
Okay.
No. Like I said, my favorite player in the league. I just don't want him on my team.
Hey, that's reasonable.
Overall, it's just not. It's not going to work.
I think just looking at basketball, especially with the Knicks, to bring them, for example, like basketball is definitely a big team game. So you want to make sure the Knicks got a great culture right now, even though the record. They kind of been in the past couple of weeks have been a little rough for the Knicks, but they just got off to a great start. Obviously, you look at the Thunder; they're like over 30 wins, if I'm correct, right? They look like they got great chemistry.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
So, in terms of basketball, you want to fit your team and assemble it around, chemistry and obviously teamwork, especially. So, whether Jimmy Butler fits into the question, hearing your thoughts on it doesn't sound like it's going to work. So, hey. Jimmy Butler can go somewhere else.
Yeah, and like I said, it's nothing personal. It's just I just don't think it works for this team.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said. So hey,
you are right. The Thunder are one of 2 teams with 30 wins. Them and the Cavaliers.
Yeah, and I saw someone today where the Cavaliers are now becoming a spot where free agent, players want to play now. What do you think is the meaning of that? Like, what do you think is the influence of that?
If you build it, they will come. That's what it is. If your team is good, people are going to want to play for you. You need to have the ownership and front office to do it. Because sometimes you're in a small market that is winning and you can't attract free agents because it's bad ownership. Other times you're in a large market and you can't attract free agents and it's because of bad ownership. The Knicks, right? Up until recently, growing up, how many years were they relevant? You and I were both born in 2000. Aside from the Jeremy Lin years, nobody really cared. There was a few bright spots every now and then, but overall, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's the whole complete organization. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't want Jimmy Butler. It's not worth the headache making the trade work. It's impossible to make trades now with the new NBA, CBA. It's not worth the headache. Giving up picks, giving up assets. I mean, I don't know. Again, I also don't know if we'd have to attach anything to Bradley Beal's contract. And Bradley Beal, since going to the bench, has actually been pretty good. Yeah, he makes... Oh my gosh, the Wizards. I can tell you why they fail. Bradley Beal, they signed him to a 5-year, $250 million contract.
Oof.
So I mean, it's absurd.
That's definitely very absurd.
And he's on the hook for another 2 years on my stupid team. Ugh,
That's definitely absurd. But so I mean, definitely credit to Donovan Mitchell. I feel like he definitely, everyone was pointing him to go to the Knicks for the longest time, and it just never transpired. So to see what he's doing in Cleveland, how they are, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's actually the same money for Bradley Beal.
Okay.
But again, you'd probably have to attach picks. The Donovan Mitchell thing. Listen, he's matured into the leader. People thought he would be in Utah, but he just needed a fresh start. He's got a young core around him, and he's not taking over as much as he used to in Utah. He could defer more to the other guys and be more of a complete player on a complete roster. They look good. They look really good. I think they're so far the best team in the league. They just beat the Pacers by 10 points tonight. I think the Pacers beat them by 15 Sunday. So a nice little revenge game for them to get back in the win column. And Jared Allen, what a fantastic year for him, averaging a double-double, over 10 points and 10 rebounds per game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how about that?
How about them? How about them apples? All right.
How about them apples?
How about them apples? So like I said, basically quick on the NBA. Anything else that comes to mind?
Nothing I noticed. I'm just going to do a quick little news look just to see if I missed anything or if anything broke, but Trae Young had a season high against my Suns tonight, 43.
I saw the Giannis had his 50th. Hold on, his 50th career triple-double.
That's pretty cool. That I didn't see, but that's pretty neat.
He had 33 points, 13 assists, and 11 rebounds with 2 blocks.
Yeah, the Suns didn't lose tonight, 122 to 117. So maybe that's going to put pressure on them as we fall below 500 and out of the play-in. That's horrible. But I don't think Jimmy Butler fixes that. I don't think we have too many holes on our roster. It's just bad front office, bad ownership. We got a new owner. It's whatever.
It's whatever.
Anytime a new owner steps in, they either make all the right moves like Steve Cohen did for your Mets. But even at first, he had some problems there. I can take these off because I'm not watching TV anymore.
At first, he did have some problems.
He had some horrible contracts. Same thing with the Suns. But hopefully, Matt Ishbia kind of get his head screwed on straight. Okay. You remember at the time, obviously we didn't have Sports Shack at the time, but I said to you at the time, I didn't like the Kevin Durant trade because I thought we gave up too much.
Right.
Kind of turned out to be right. We didn't win anything. We've regressed from a win-loss standpoint. So
yeah, sometimes I keep forgetting he's on Phoenix. I don't know. I still remember him.
I forget too because he never plays. He's hurt all the time.
I still remember him obviously from Thunder.
Right.
It's crazy what would have happened if he never left. Definitely was a franchise alternating move for the NBA. Just as not even just for his career, but just for the whole NBA.
For Russell Westbrook's career.
Yeah, definitely. So, but it's definitely. Do you think they would have won a chip had he leave? Had he not leave? It's tough to say.
I don't know.
It's crazy. I never forget the rumors that year, the summer of 19, where it was supposed to be him and Kyrie that was supposed to sign with the Knicks. And then they ended up going to Brooklyn instead.
I don't understand Knicks fans. I don't. For 20 years, teams have been using them just to, bump up their price tags. And every time Knicks fans fall for it. Now I can believe it because the team is good. But before that, I can't believe it. I didn't believe that for a second.
I remember that was supposed to be the year they're supposed to get Zion, KD, and Kyrie all in the same offseason.
And a time machine to bring Willis Reed back. Yeah,
that was a total flop. Hey, don't forget Walt-Clyde Frazier as well.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be it. But man, I forgot about that. That was, man. You want to talk about a flop of an offseason?
Well, Again,
I think they
I
got
don't think
Randall
I don't think the
Boston.
Knicks
You're
front
right.
office ever in a day thought that they had a chance at getting them because the rest of their team sucked. They're horrible. Alonzo Trier was one of the best scorers on the team. He's not even in the league.
Wasn't that the year that they got Randall in
And
the free agency too in 19? If I'm wrong, I believe that was the year he signed with them.
maybe I don't think so. I could be wrong, but the Nets were like a really good, frisky team with D'Angelo Russell and Jared Dudley and Jared Allen. So if you were trying to build a winner in free agency or through trades and stuff like that, that's the team that was the ideal candidate. So it's, but yeah, but this is the Knicks. This is the Knicks. That doesn't mean jack. They haven't been relevant to that point in 20 years.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? You're in the same city. What the difference between Brooklyn and Manhattan means that much to you? It's a subway ride. They don't care. It's not like they were living there full time. The summertime they go back to California or Florida or wherever they live.
Wherever they, yeah.
Yeah. So who cares? I'd for a day, if not for a second, did I ever think that was going to happen? Just kind of rolled my eyes when I would hear about it. Saying, here we go, WFAN and ESPN taking the bait. It's every single time a big player hits free agency. And now I thought Donovan Mitchell had a chance of becoming a Knick because he's still like a huge Mets fan.
Yeah.
Like he still follows New York sports and is from the area. That I could see making more sense. But the Cavaliers knew this when they traded for him, so they made it a priority that we want to build a competitive team right away. And he extended. And people thought even at the time that he was going to extend and ask or trade out, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Because he saw this is a team that's trying to win. This is a competitive team. This is a competitive roster. So now to bring it back to current NBA talk, if you're a Knicks fan, I don't think you should be worried. Jalen Brunson always destroys Donovan Mitchell. Every time they play each other, Jalen Brunson gets the better of him. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm sure they're pretty stark.
I think it's definitely. I think the Knicks, either way, they ended up getting the fair end of their future. Like it's not like they got held back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Like like you said, it's not like they got held back for years to come.
Right.
Because like a couple years later, then that's where they started to get competitive again, and they just been building off each year. They were close to making it to the championship finals, but obviously Indiana said otherwise, and then I don't think they're going to get past Boston. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the other thing is, look at all those contracts. They're all very fair contracts or cheap. I mean, Jalen Brunson's legit cheap.
They got Jalen Brunson now. They got Karl-Anthony Towns. Like it's still a superstar player like Mitchell. And then, they were able to build off that, getting OG even before they got Karl-Anthony Towns. Then Brunson, no one would thought Brunson was going to turn out to be the player that he was for the Knicks. Then obviously, they just build off, their success, and that's, and they still got Mitchell Robinson. So yeah.
Yeah, he's making Brunson's making $25 million this year. So think about that. Beal and Butler are both well into their 30s. Brunson is 31. He's actually older than I thought. But they're both older than him. And he's making half the money. The best player on the team. I think he should be getting MVP consideration this year, but we'll see. And yeah. All right. I think that's it for NBA talk. I don't know if we want
to. I think we're good.
Switch gears over to NFL.
I agree.
Okay.
A lot been going on in the NFL world, of course. A lot of head coaching new moves now between last week and now. The last Sports Shack episode we did. We'll get into that later, but right now we should dive into the wild card series. The last matchup, which was last night, that was January 13th. It was January 13th. Mm-hmm. Now it was January 14th. Now it's 15th as we're recording this at 12:11 a.m. at night. I know with late night podcasting, you gotta do what you gotta do. The January 13th game was the Rams versus the Vikings. The Rams obviously playing in Arizona because due to the air quality and what's going on in Los Angeles with the wildfires. We pray for everybody down in Los Angeles with the wildfires and hope that everyone's okay and is getting through it, this tragedy, as quick as possible as they can and safely. Obviously due to the air quality, they couldn't play in Los Angeles right away. Uh, it was moved to Arizona. I think they've had that prepared for a while too. But the Rams were dominant in that game. They won 27-9. Destroyed Sam Darnold. The Vikings, no, not the Vikings. The Commanders and the Buccaneers played the Sunday night matchup on Sunday, January 12th. The Commanders getting their first win since 2005. Now we were in was that the two? Either way, that was 20 years ago. That was the last playoff win. That was the 2004 to 5 season, I think. But either
Yep.
way,
It would have been
that's
5. We
remarkable.
would have been in kindergarten.
We would have been in kindergarten. So that's insane. That's remarkable. Um, the 4:30 game, that was the Eagles versus the Packers. I remember the Eagles got off to a dominant start, then it was quiet, and then they kind of took over. The defense kind of got to Jordan Love, and so the Eagles were able to take that game 22-10. We're gonna dive in more into the games later, just recapping it for everybody. Bills beat the Broncos. That was the first game of the Sunday games, and they won 31-7. Now for the Sunday games, the Texans and the Chargers. That was an interesting game. One of our buddies was there. Shout out to Joshua Gable and his family. They won 32 to Texans won 32-12, and Justin Herbert, man, he did not show up in the playoffs, but that's something that we'll get into that later. And Mike Tomlin keeps getting hot, even though he's produced winning seasons. But is that going to make it? Is that going to be the reason to keep you as a coach when you have not won a playoff game in almost 9 years? I'm not sure about that, but we'll dive into that again, like I said later. Ravens come out of that 28-14. So definitely interesting wildcard matchups.
No, there weren't. They sucked.
No, yeah, no.
They were horrible
A lot
games.
of
There was
people
one
saying
that was watchable.
it was definitely not a super wildcard weekend, as most people would say.
No, it was a super turd.
It was the only really good game was the Commanders versus the Buccaneers. I thought the Eagles Packers was a little bit interesting at first. I kind of fell asleep because I was tired. It was a long weekend. I was tired, but that's kind of sums up what people think of the most of the matchups. Everyone was sleeping.
Yeah. You know who should get the what was it? The bumper. What was it? The bumper sandwich. What was?
Yeah.
Who gets the bumper sandwich of the week? Everybody that has to watch those games.
Do you want me to play it?
You don't have to play it.
I want to. Right now.
Okay.
Wait,
please do. I'm locked in.
How could you not?
We did it, Rimshot. We got it. I am Troll Fighter #1. Rimshot! I don't believe it, Rimshot. He's pulling against 200 horsepower. I put it in reverse. How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
That's who gets the bumper sandwich of the week. Those
us.
Us, yes.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Us.
Shout out to Ernest, the movie Ernest Goes to Jail. Shout out to Jim Varney. Rest in peace to him. We did not get permission from those people, whoever made that movie, but we're just giving them a shout out. So hopefully that's okay with it. So thank you. But yes, those are the people who get the bumper sandwich of the week. It's us for the playoff matchup.
Yeah.
But someone who doesn't get it is Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, who like I said, got their first playoff win. And just what a great game. You know what? Let's break that game down first. What an amazing game.
Let's start fun.
I was talking about it with my dad, and he was saying, first thing he said to me is, Bobby Wagner, man, what a beast. And I'm like, yeah, Bobby Wagner's been around for a very long time. Bobby Wagner, I believe, was drafted in 2012. He was part of that great draft class in 2012 from John Schneider and the Seattle Seahawks that essentially created, was part of the creation of the Legion of Boom in Seattle. And obviously, you know what the Legion of Boom is, Dennis.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Bobby Wagner's been in the league for a long time. He was with the Seahawks for a long time, spent a year with the Rams, and that didn't work out really too well. I believe he came back to Seattle for a year, and then he recently signed in the offseason with the Commanders. Why? Because Dan Quinn was his defensive coordinator in Seattle. I believe it was when they won the Super Bowl, too. Yeah, I think it was when they won the Super Bowl as well. Yeah, because Gus Bradley went to coach the Jaguars. So then Dan Quinn took over in 2013. So Bobby Wagner was like, hey, you know what? Let me go to Washington as well. So, yeah, and dude's just been still playing at a high level and at that point of his career. So it's amazing to see how that much that culture has changed with the Commanders under the new ownership of Josh Harris. Because you can see that Dan Snyder was holding that team back for the longest time. So it's really cool to see how that culture, just all it needed was just new ownership and just a different culture. Because obviously the culture under Dan Snyder was not it. So you look at Josh Harris and obviously changing around and things. It took about a year or two. I believe a year because I believe that's how long he's on the team. I gotta ask my boy James. And obviously hiring someone like Dan Quinn who's gonna, command just a great culture, great leadership, accountability, and you can see the team has definitely, galvanized and just played around him. They love him. They love Dan Quinn. And how about Jaden Daniels, man? I hope he gets Rookie of the Year. He's got my vote. Bo Nix has definitely looked good, but Jaden, I think this weekend kind of proved that Jaden Daniels has made the case for Rookie of the Year.
Definitely. They looked fantastic. It was a great game.
It was definitely
fun to watch. Kind of a classic Todd Bowles masterclass in horrible clock management.
Yeah.
Just kind of the free space if you're playing Todd Bowles bingo. Whatever.
Yeah, Todd Bowles
the better team won. The better
Todd
team won.
Bowles has been known for his clock management. He was like that when he was on the Jets. So it's not a shock that that it kind of came like that. I just don't understand it. It just,
dude, I don't either.
Clock management it's fixable. With Todd Bowles, it seems to be a key run-on issue. I don't understand it, in my opinion. I give Baker Mayfield credit because he took ownership of some of the miscues. The last
fumble.
drive, the fumble, he took ownership of that, and then the drive where I think it was 3rd and inches, and he snapped the ball, but everybody just stood there. So I don't know, that was a miscommunication. So, Baker Mayfield started a good season. I don't think it's the end of his career. It's definitely not the end of his career. So what Baker Mayfield should do, obviously look in the offseason, take a look at this and be like, hey, we'll come back next year. Simple as that. But what are you going to say, Dennis?
I mean, they played well. They played well. I mean, keep in mind, they're also without, their first or second best skill player in Chris Godwin. They hadn't had him for 2 months, 3 months of the season.
And Mike Evans more out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, so they could have been a higher seed. They could have avoided it altogether if they had Chris Godwin. Who knows? Maybe they win. And they had guys step up. I'm forgetting the name of the kid, the rookie.
Jalen
McMillan, thank you.
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving was phenomenal.
So the future is kind of bright.
Yeah. And let's be honest, they're in an easy division, right? The Falcons, they don't know what they're going to get out of Michael Penix. He was good for 3 games, but
we don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know. So, they have nothing to hang their, they have nothing to hang
their heads down. No.
I mean, fine. You lose by 3 points. Who cares?
It was a great game. Both teams were great, but the Commanders turned out to be the better team.
Right. That's what I'm getting at, is both teams played hard, quote Rasheed Wallace. And, it is what it is. You can't win them all. So good for them. They made it fine. Commanders look very good.
They do.
They won 13 games, right? 12 games, something like that?
12. It's not showing. Yeah, no, they were 12. Yeah, they were 12-5.
So, most seasons that's good enough to win a division. Most seasons that might be good enough to be the 1 seed in a conference.
So, like
wins.
I said, they really, Dennis, they really turned it around under Dan Quinn. And people question the hire, but I guess because of obviously his tenure with the Falcons and how that disaster ended. No one forgets about Super Bowl 51. No one forgets about that. So I guess people kind of still hold Dan Quinn for that, obviously for that game. But obviously people liked what he went to Dallas as the DC, did a great job, did a phenomenal job. Obviously, Dallas or the Cowboys are the Cowboys, but he was still playing. He was still the great coach that he was, and he didn't leave till he had the right opportunity. And obviously, he interviewed for the Commanders. They liked him. They thought it was a match, and it's definitely working out for the Commanders. So Dan Quinn deserves a lot of credit for what's going on. And in the words of Russell Wilson, he deserves unlimited praise right now. So like I said, shout out to Dan Quinn. I got to clap it up for him. Clap it up. And so so that's gonna be an interesting game. We're gonna talk about the matchups for next week soon, but first game we should talk. The first game that was the Saturday game, the Texans versus the Chargers. So I kind of thought the Chargers were a lock.
I thought so too. The whole world did.
I thought so too. Luckily, I didn't put it down on a parlay. I try not to sports bet as much, especially in the playoffs. I'm not placing any bets. But like I said, if I had to place anything, I would have put the Chargers down on the money line.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
No, Lexa, I'm not asking you for parlays. No, I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah. Listen, a lot of people are looking at the box score and saying Justin Herbert was horrible. I got to say, to play devil's advocate, I did not know. I knew they had Will Anderson and I knew they had Danielle
Hunter. Derek
Either
Stingley.
the rest of the Texans defense is that good or the Chargers offensive line is horrific.
They got great
tackles. And I don't just say, listen, I'm a New York Giants fan. I don't throw horrific offensive line around too lightly. You and I, we have watched a lot of New York football over the years. We know bad offensive lines when we see them. So to say if an offensive line is horrific, they got to be bad. That Chargers line was nothing. It was non-existent. They were horrible. Now, he had 4 picks. I think, one of them was like a garbage time pick that he was just trying to make a play happen. Right. It was really like 3.
Right.
But it counts all the same in the stat sheet. And, I think he played maybe a little better than he was given credit for. But they looked unprepared. They looked overmatched. They looked horrible.
The only player that didn't look horrible was Ladd McConkey.
I was going to say, he had 194 yards, didn't he?
197. Yeah. That's insane.
That's incredible.
Was that all he was looking to?
He was the only one who was getting open.
It was just.
We knew this all year long. It's on us.
Ladd downfield. Was that all he was throwing it to? So just looking at that alone, the key number one offseason move that the Chargers have to do now is get another receiver to pair with Ladd McConkey for Justin Herbert. Get Keenan Allen back. Maybe trade up in the draft. Keenan Allen has said he would come back to the Chargers.
I wouldn't want him.
Why not?
Did you see how he played with the Bears this year? There are times that guy put in no effort.
Yeah, but no, I don't know.
I don't know.
I would no. If I'm the Chargers, I'm calling him Keenan Allen right now. The season was different. It was the Bears. It was an interesting season. They had Matt Eberflus as their coach.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear it.
It was an interesting season for the Bears. So no. All I'm saying is just looking at that alone, the Chargers need a number one receiver. Just that alone.
I think Ladd could be a number one receiver. Not yet, though. I think they need T. Higgins. Let him put Ladd right here under his wing.
That's a good. I like that idea because T. Higgins could easily be the big deep threat, and then Ladd McConkey could be like the. He easily could be a number one receiver, but like if T. Higgins is covered, you got Ladd McConkey down the middle. It could easily be like a Cooper Kupp type matchup, situation.
I don't know contracts and what they would be willing to give up, or if this team would be willing to deal this player. What about DK Metcalf?
That's a good pairing. I like that.
As Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the one. Maybe. I'm just thinking here.
But anyways, we shouldn't dive too much into this.
But
But
yeah,
no,
their whole offense needs to be overhauled.
this I didn't expect the Chargers to be like they were this year. So credit to Jim Harbaugh for
The defense
and,
looked
and
good
then
at
again,
first, and
like we
eventually,
said,
yeah.
coaching. That's another the way Jim Harbaugh came in and just demanded, just a different culture under that team compared to what it was like right under Brandon Staley. So credit to the Chargers for making it to the playoffs, and they got a lot of building blocks to build off of. So now this offseason is going to be huge. With the Texans though, definitely. I'm glad they got the win. It's definitely I didn't think they would come out with it. Um, just I don't know. I just like the Chargers in the matchup. I just thought the Chargers were the better team, but the Texans proved me otherwise. So now the Texans, they not only was smoking on that Rex Ryan pack, they were also smoking on that Buddy pack as well. So I don't know if you saw that
No.
with Rex Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Rex Ryan said he thought the Chargers were going to destroy the Texans, and then the Texans came out after. They're like, "Yeah, we're smoking a Rex Ryan pack." I don't know if you saw that. You didn't see that?
I didn't see them say that, but I saw
No,
Josh was telling me that he said that.
Yeah, sure. I got to talk to Josh about that. It was, it was funny. Then Rex Ryan came on the next day on like Sunday NFL Countdown and apologized on the air. I gotta find. I wish let me see if I can find it quick. But yeah, that was it. So, any thoughts?
On to the next one for the Texans. They look pretty good, but let's be honest. That first quarter, they look just as bad. So I'm a little worried about them going up against the Chiefs. Not a hot take, obviously, but we'll see. They need to play 4 quarters of almost perfect football to beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are coming off more or less a 2-week bye. So they're well rested, they're well prepared, and they're home.
Chargers better. No, not the Chargers. Texans better. Better bring their A game. It's definitely going to be a good game. They played a good game. The week before Christmas. So that was fun. So the Chargers, they always find a way to make it to the divisional round. So good for them. In terms of them playing the Chiefs, that's going to be a fun game. We're going to dive into that a bit. With the Steelers and the Ravens, no shock there. The Ravens were obviously the lock for me against that. What a collapse by the Steelers. Definitely, I did not. I thought the Steelers. I thought the season was different. They were 10-3 at one point. Then the end of the season at 10-7, and losing the wild card, weekend to the Ravens. So that's going to be just a heartbreaker a little bit because, like I said, the Steelers have not won a playoff game since 2016. The last game was against the Chiefs. That I believe was January 15th, if I'm correct. And that was when Alex Smith was the quarterback for the Chiefs, and that's when they still had Big Ben. And they lost, obviously, to the Patriots in the championship game. So, obviously the Steelers, the next couple of rounds, they've been in it. They just haven't found ways to they just haven't produced. They haven't won in the big games. Like, this is now their 6th straight loss in the playoffs within the past since their last win. So now Mike Tomlin's seat has been hot than ever.
Listen, their collapse, I think, is greatly overstated. I think it's kind of low-hanging fruit and borderline just silly for people to be like, they were 10-3, and then look what happened. Here's their losses: 27-13 to the Eagles, 34-17 to the Ravens, 29-10 to the Chiefs. All right, those are all blowouts, all to 3 of the 4 best teams in the league. Great. Then the Bengals beat them 19-17 the last week of the regular season. Keep in mind, 3 of those losses came in 11 days. This is a team that we knew going into the season didn't have an elite quarterback or even a quarterback. They were going to try to kind of figure it out along the way. They did. Russell Wilson at times looked excellent, and other times he didn't. He's an aging veteran quarterback. Sometimes they look like Tom Brady, other times they don't. We knew that. They didn't exactly have the best wide receivers either. We knew that. Najee Harris had an explosive rookie year, and since then he's been mediocre. We knew that. Defensively, they look great every week. Their special teams is great. Their kicking is great. But offensively, we knew what we were getting from them. When they played against the good teams, they lost.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. In fact, The only reason why people even thought they had a chance was because of Mike Tomlin. So I don't understand why everybody's now saying, I think maybe he just needs a fresh start. Oh, it's been 9 wins since they won a playoff game. Look at the rosters they had. I get it. Their defenses have been great, but Le'Veon Bell quit. Antonio Brown quit. Big Ben's one of the most overrated players I've ever seen in any sport.
He was coming of age, like
and he was
showing.
getting up there in age. The way he played when he was in his prime, as physical as he was at a quarterback, he was an old quarterback. You know, he had a lot of mileage on him. And you're in that division that's just a gauntlet every year. I guess maybe not so much then, to be honest. The Browns and Bengals were always pretty bad. But the Ravens, I mean, that's tough, man. That's tough. The AFC over the last 10 years has been tough to get through. And the fact that they're even able to make the playoffs, that's a big part of it. And, you know, it is what it is. I get it. They have a lot of losses, a lot of playoff losses. We know that. But at the same time, too, you got to get there first.
Yeah.
I think that Mike Tomlin needs a fresh start. I think if he was released by the Steelers tomorrow, I think he'd have a job by Friday. Keep in mind we're recording this, I guess, Wednesday morning at 12:30. So that goes to show how much I think of him. I don't know. I understand that people are saying that maybe he might get traded or something like that. He said supposedly, don't count on it. Who knows what's going to happen? But the one thing's for certain, I know the Pittsburgh fans are turning on him and the Pittsburgh media is turning on him. One thing's for certain, I don't think that they get to that point without another coach. With another coach.
100%. And,
and I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it in a way that they're probably a 10-loss team, not a 10-win team.
Definitely. It's the culture within the Pittsburgh organization. It definitely would be different now. They're known for keeping the coaches to the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've had coaches since the dinosaurs were around. That's all I'm saying. That's how consistent and non-dysfunctional they are as an organization. Where, like I said, Chuck Noll was coach for almost 30 years. Bill Cowher was around for a long time. Like, he was around for at least 15 years, and then Mike Tomlin took over. So
is their third coach since the merger?
The third coach since the merger. So that's insane. Where the Jets have gone, ooh, spooky.
Yeah,
where the Jets have gone to, like, not to compare the Jets, but they've gone to at least 20. And that's sad to say. I know. So, but in terms of Mike Tomlin leaving, I don't really think it's necessary. Because, like you said, like, he gets you there. It just it's unfortunate that you're not winning the games that you're supposed to win. But, the Steelers are always consistent. They're always competitive each year in and year out. Not trying to give, too much credit to the winning seasons, Mark, that he doesn't have a losing season as coach of the team, in his tenure. But like I said, they're always competitive. They always make the playoffs when they do. He got them a Super Bowl. And so, like I said, like, he's a great coach. So, like you said, he gets fired tomorrow, he would have a job by the weekend. Or maybe even sooner. And so, like I said, I think it's stupid to fire or consider his seat hot. I get it. But I think it would be very stupid to let him go. The culture would change with the Steelers.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. It just wouldn't be the same.
I don't think they fire him. I think they would trade him. Because you could get a first-round pick for an
They could definitely
coach.
They can get a lot from Mike Tomlin if they were to trade him.
But the thing is, like, I don't understand it. What did you expect week 1? Did you think this was going to be a Super Bowl winning team? That buzz was my dryer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you heard it, but you don't hear the fish tank in the background.
Now I do.
Really? Huh.
That's funny.
Not been that way.
But anyways, keep going.
Yeah. I don't know. Week 1, you didn't think this team was going to the Super Bowl, so why is anything different now? Maybe that's a bad way of looking at it, But if you exceed expectations but don't exceed them enough, you should lose your job. How does that make any sense? It's stupid. I don't know. The NFL media is reactionary and dumb. Bunch of dullards.
That's very true.
So, next game, Bills Broncos. Do we even have to talk about it? Bills looked good. Broncos, they're in a rebuild, or not rebuild, but they're on the up. Nothing changed. Bo Nix was okay, I guess. The Bills defense might be for real.
He didn't have a good game last night. We're talking about Sam Darnold. Didn't play all that well in the season finale.
That's the only thing I could think of. Is the Bills defense looks better than people were giving them credit for. Aside from that, everything was.
I thought the Broncos were going to play a much more competitive game than that. I'm not gonna lie, they got off to a great start, and I thought it was the Broncos were kind of going to. I thought Broncos country was going to ride with it. It was the opposite. It stopped right after that.
Oh, they rode the way of Russell Wilson.
So like I said, Broncos country did not ride after that Troy Franklin touchdown. Like I said, the Bills always win the first game, and now the next game is going to be huge. That's the Bills Ravens. That is, I believe, what is that? That's Sunday. I believe that's the last game. That's the last game of that. That's 6:30 on Sunday. I think that's gonna be the game I'm definitely waiting for.
Brandon.
All games next week are gonna be great. We're gonna discuss that a little bit later, but Bills looked great. You just see Josh Allen just playing phenomenal. Each player got a different touchdown, whether it was Ty Johnson or it was Curtis Samuel, and then James Cook, obviously. But like I said, it's amazing how much Josh Allen single-handedly changed that organization and the outlook people look on them. That's what you want from a player like him, or just from anybody. Just so credit to the Bills. I respect the heck out of the Bills. I don't like the Bills. I respect the heck out of them because they're just a great team, and I love Josh Allen. You can't hate on the guy. He's got a great story, and you can't hate on him. What's up?
If I get cleared by the doc tomorrow, Sunday night Bills Ravens, we thinking wings or what?
Possibly, we'll see. I am working during the day.
But
I wouldn't mind after. We'll see.
I might be working during the day. I don't know yet.
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
That would.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm amped. Wings or no wings, I'm amped for that game.
That game's going to be good, but I don't think it's anything with the Eagles and the Packers. I wouldn't sleep. The Eagles. It was an interesting matchup. I don't think the offense wasn't really clicking for Jalen Hurts. It was his first game back from being in the concussion protocol and then injuring his finger or his hand or whatever it was. So, I definitely have some concerns about them, but I think since they play the Rams, who looked great against the Vikings, made Sam Darnold look like he was seeing ghosts. So 9 sacks. So like I said, the Rams just unstoppable. Like everyone was crediting the defensive coordinator Chris Shula for the way that he was able to dial up some of the defensive plays against the Vikings. Where, like I said, Sam Darnold they couldn't do anything. 9 times getting sacked. That's insane, Dennis. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup. Eagles versus the Rams. Yeah, Eagles versus the Rams.
Jalen Hurts averages kind of poorly in Eagles winning playoff games. He's below 200 yards in Eagles playoff games that he wins in the postseason for his career. So I don't think it's an aberration at all. Even when they went to the Super Bowl that year, their offense was good, but everybody was talking about how great their defense was. I think the Rams are going to kick their teeth.
I don't know. You know what? It's tough because the Rams definitely they look different now than they did when they played them. I don't know like I said, I think they got a lot to play for. They looked great against the Vikings. Like I said, they looked dominant. Like a different team. Like I said, they got a lot to play for. They got a lot of heart right now, and obviously for the city of Los Angeles, and obviously it's the playoffs. They want to win, and they came and they played. They played dominant. That defense, it's going to be different. So I wouldn't be shocked if they came out of Philly with the win, but it's going to be tough because, like I said, It's not easy to play in Philly. And Saquon Barkley did rush all over that defense. But like I said, it's different when it comes to the playoffs. So um, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I still kind of got Philly taking the game. I'm gonna go with Philly because I think they're gonna show up differently. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna find a way to get AJ Brown and Devontae Smith more involved. AJ Brown was somehow reading a book on the sideline. I never saw that. I saw Mark Sanchez eating a hot dog. I've seen fights. I've seen arguments, but I've never seen anybody read a book. Um, so that's what I got. That's what I think of that game. Now, with it's going to be interesting. Like I say, I wonder how they're going to be doing, how they're going to run with Saquon Barkley, and then obviously the passing game. I like to see what they're going to do. And I think the Eagles defense also had a great game against Jordan Love and the Packers. So
that didn't say much. The whole team got hurt. I didn't think the Eagles looked too good, man.
They didn't, but I don't know. I don't want to go against them. I think it
I'm
would be a
going
little
against them.
rusty.
I hate them. I'm a Giants fan. I have
All
no
right,
problem
you
going
can
against
do
them. They
that.
suck.
You can do that. I'm still gonna ride with
Go Rams.
Saquon and the Eagles. All right, all right. The other game that's interesting: Lions versus Commanders. That's gonna be a fun game. Um, the Commanders are a great team. Lions who are coming off the bye. Hopefully, they get some players back, and they're just first bye for the Lions probably ever. I don't think they ever got a first round bye. So good for them. Detroit's gonna be rocking. Um, Jaden Daniels has looked good, but I think their fun run's going to end in Detroit. So, I got the Lions in that matchup. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I got Lions. I don't know what to make of their defense because they looked excellent against the Vikings the last week of the season, but I think a lot of people just think the Vikings might have just been frauds the whole time. Sam Darnold looked horrible last night. So maybe it just kind of makes their defense look better. I don't know. But one thing I did notice in those two games was the Rams defense was going around the Vikings line. The Lions were just going right through them that last game, like a hot knife through butter. So, with the extra week, their bye week was week 5. So now you're getting a rested team, a rested offense. David Montgomery's still not back, but the rest of the team, I would imagine, is close to healthy. I guess Aiden Hutchinson's the only big piece that they're not going to have aside from Montgomery. Maybe I'm missing somebody. I'll look at the IR right now. But I don't know. As much as the Commanders are a fun team to watch, it's how do you not take them? How do you not take them? And now that I think about it, last week, do you remember when we're talking about the Texans game, I said this feels like last year. Everybody was picking the Browns and the Texans just went right through them. I should have taken my own advice.
Right.
But yeah, I think the Lions, man. I think the Lions. I'm all in on them. I'm trying to see if there's the IRs. Ennis Rakestraw, cornerback for the Lions. Pat O'Connor, defensive end, questionable. Carlton Davis III, cornerback for the Lions, IR. Derek Bames, linebacker, IR. Kevin Zeller, guard, questionable. And I'm trying to see if I can find more of it. Oh my God, yeah, they do have a lot of injuries. Aiden Hutchinson's IR'd until February 9th. It looks like Emmanuel Mosley's out. And then a bunch of guys on the IR for the season. Cornerback Khalil Dorsey, Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle Mekhi Wingo, defensive tackle Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker Kyle Pecco, defensive tackle Marcus Davenport, defensive end John Kaminsky, defensive end Antoine Green, wide receiver, offensive tackle Connor Galvin. Yeah, but you know what? They keep winning anyway. Sure. Shout out to Aaron Glenn,
who could be a future Jet coach.
That's what a lot of people are saying. But Yeah, listen, I mean, they have all those injuries, and guess what? They still won 15 games. So, what does that go to show you? So, I don't know how much is going to matter or not. But the Commanders, we've seen it all season long. You can never count them out.
Nope.
So, hopefully, it's exciting. Just give me exciting football at this point. I don't even care. After this weekend, win, lose, or draw, just excite me.
I
I
feel like
thought the
there's been a lot
Buccaneers were
going
going to
on.
win.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see what's going on for I feel like, I'm very happy for the playoffs. I thought the Jets were going to be in it. I was wrong. What are you going to do? You live and you learn. I say that every year with that in terms of that. I'm excited to see who the Jets are going to hire as their GM and their head coach. We're going to dive into that later. But speaking of head coachings, Mike McCarthy has been and the Dallas Cowboys decided to part ways, and he would no longer be the head coach. I think it's very interesting. I don't know why they made the move. I would have kept Mike McCarthy in all honesty. I thought it was working down in Dallas. I don't understand the move. I'm curious to see what Jerry Jones's motive or his idea for the reason for this, and I just think it was quite frankly stupid. I don't know why. I think it's showing of Jerry Jones's ego to a whole nother level, and quite frankly, I don't know who could replace them as next head coach because I feel like when you're becoming the Dallas Cowboys head coach, like you're essentially taking over as like it's the Yankees. Like you're such held to a standard. So, you know, I don't know who could replace Mike McCarthy's, you know, uh not throne, but like his seat as head coach. People pointed Deion Sanders, but is that going to take away too much from Jerry's spotlight? Because Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders. He's going to command a lot of spotlight. So, that's what's going to haunt the Cowboys is that ego of Jerry Jones, and that's what's going to they're going to keep on being the same old Cowboys and not win anything. So I don't know. It's interesting to me. Now they're talking about Jason Witten being a head coach. Deion Sanders is just when is it going to stop being a clown show and be more serious? Enough of Jerry's world and all that crap. I want like with the Cowboys. When is it going to be serious? That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what to make of it. Truth be told, I kind of almost don't even care anymore with the Cowboys. All their wounds are self inflicted. It's just you know what I Godspeed and good luck to you Cowboys fans, but you know what? You're all front runners anyway, so what do I care? Sorry, Charlie. Um,
But yeah, and in terms of the head coaching cycle, Jets have interviewed and like a ton of GMs and head coaches. Well, people that are interviewing for the head coaching positions, and obviously people for the general manager spot. So people pointed at Aaron Glenn. Now I'm hearing Brian Flores. That's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. I personally would want them to hire Aaron Glenn. I like what's going on in Detroit, and I think he'd be a great culture builder. He was a Jet, so that's a plus. And then obviously, he's someone who obviously would command, discipline, respect, accountability, and just change that culture for the Jets. So, but then I wouldn't mind that for Brian Flores as well. I think he could do the same thing. I'm hoping with Brian Flores that he learned from his experience in Miami and could just learn from his mistakes and do better with the Jets and like I said, another guy who would command the same type of leadership and just would be better. So yeah, I'd be excited, but so very interesting to see Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. That is very interesting, and I was not shocked at all. I knew right away when Gerard Mayo was fired. I was like, "Yep, well, there's Mike Vrabel to the Patriots right there." If I had to put money on it, that was it. Like I said, I don't sports bet. That would have been. I would have won money right there and then, like, because former Patriot, great leader, literally teammates refer to him as dad, and AJ Brown raved about him. I'm pretty sure he would get traded to the Patriots if he wanted to. Jeffrey Simmons wants to get traded to the Patriots, so you could obviously see how much of an impact Mike Vrabel has to a team and to the players. So why the Titans fired him, I don't know why, but obviously he took a year off, was with the Browns for a little bit as a consultant role, and obviously took the job, and then was ready to be a head coach. The Jets made a late push, but obviously, Patriots' job was open. He went for them instead. Don't blame him. So I'm not surprised. And I think it's a good match.
Definitely. Gerard Mayo, he wasn't it. Fans were chanting Fire Mayo and stuff like that. They were just, I don't know. Now, Patriots fans, quit your whining. You had 20 years of dominance in the NFL. That's unheard of.
No, honestly, for real.
Yeah, enough already. Stop. I get it. Before that, the Patriots were horrible for a long time. I understand it.
For a long time. They were bad.
I get it. But come on. 20 years in the NFL of dominating. That's insane. So, enough already. Yeah,
Enough.
Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Yeah, that of course it was going to happen. I think everybody knew it. I don't think anybody wanted it to happen, but everybody knew it was going to happen. I wanted him to go to you guys. Shoot, I wanted him to go to my Giants, but
I wanted him as the Jets' next head coach. That was my first option, and I guess second was Aaron Glenn, and number 3 is Brian Flores. I don't know where Mike McCarthy fits into that, but in terms of with the Patriots and Gerard Mayo, I'm not gonna lie. I looked at Gerard Mayo. Nothing against him. I just don't think the Patriots they looked awful in his first. I know it was his first year as the coach, and with the roster he was dealt with, but you gotta look a little better.
there was
They didn't look like
stuff.
they were worse.
Yeah,
and they just didn't look like they were the same record as last year. But I just didn't see any improvement, and I didn't see anything that he could lead this team to be a success, in my opinion. So. I think once the Patriots saw that Vrabel was talking to the Jets, I don't think they liked that, and that was kind of the move right there. And that was kind of the move where they knew, all right, we want you, we don't want you going to our rival, so hey, come be with us instead. It would be much better. So that's unfortunate, but that's how the business is. So like I said, with Gerard Mayo, looking at it from the outside, I didn't see any improvement. I didn't see maybe. I would have gave him a year, another year, sure, but I don't know. I didn't look from what it saw. I don't think I saw any improvement from that. The team looked sloppy. They weren't winning any games. They didn't look competitive. It was just not a good team. So maybe Gerard Mayo can be a D coordinator somewhere and learn better. But like I said, from my perspective, just looking at that, I didn't see anything from Gerard Mayo.
Thanks for letting me know.
No, Alexa. Jesus, my Alexa keeps speaking. I don't know if you hear it.
Yeah, I heard that. Why do you have one of those, man?
I wish I could tell you.
You don't get nervous about it, listening to you all the time and whatnot.
I think it's mute. I could mute it.
You have a Google? Yeah. Okay, sure, that works. Google Home upstairs. My sister got it. Got to be honest with you. Should have ran it by us first. We don't need it. I don't like people listening to my conversations.
Sure.
I don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat, but come on. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Hey, you're good. But
yeah, Vrabel to you guys made sense. I don't know where Mike McCarthy goes. I don't know why the Cowboys wouldn't.
Because they weren't bad under Mike McCarthy. They were
well,
good.
I mean, his contract expired.
It expired, yeah.
Yeah. And I understand everybody gets extended or fired in the NFL. Then fire him before the end of the season so you can start interviewing and hiring and stuff like that. You're not restricted.
That's what a lot of people are saying, that that's just inept that the Cowboys were doing that.
It's bizarre.
And
now there's this stuff that maybe Dion might be interested. It's don't do that. Don't do that.
People say maybe Kellen Moore would come to that. That'd be a good fit, Kellen Moore, because he was a backup for them. Then he was an offensive coordinator. So that'd be a good pairing. If they were serious, Kellen Moore would be a good fit.
I don't know. You know what I'm doing if I'm them? I'm picking up the phone and I'm asking about Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
How on the hot seat is he really? Or if you're trying to win now, Pete Carroll.
That's good. That's a good fit.
Just 1 year, we're gonna explode the free agent market and bring everybody in. Give me Pete Carroll. Or another team for Pete Carroll is the Jaguars. Honestly, they should be asking him whatever your price is because they just need a culture.
Supposedly, Robert Saleh might take over for that. Actually,
Oh brother, he's the opposite. He's the guy that I could see doing well with the Cowboys, but I don't think he wants the headache.
no, I think he dealt with enough headaches.
I think he's done with meddling owners.
He's dealt with meddling owners too much. I think he's ready to, for a fresh start. We'll see. But even Shad Khan's not perfect either. He's kind of like
But he's very hands off. He's the opposite. He doesn't care enough. You never hear of them having meddling owners. They put the wrong people in GM. But even then, I mean, I don't know. I think that might be a bit of a player problem, personally. But
we'll save that for next week. But anything else before we wrap up?
Good night.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I want to say before we wrap up. It's almost 1 o'clock.
We thank you. Thank you for everybody for listening to Sports Shack and tuning in. My name is Brian Natali, along with Dennis Turi. Thank you guys and have a great night.